Hi, I'm Davi, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you are new, I am a fourth year computer science student with a minor in cognitive science, and today's video is going to be walking through my software engineering term project. At the recording of this video, I've just taken my last class. I only have 3 more finals till I'm done with my fall semester, which is pretty dope, and I had recorded a vlog about me, coding for my term project. If you would like to go check that out, I think it's pretty dope. But someone had commented, shout out to Tiffany, about me going through my project, and I decided to do that. I think it's pretty dope, a cool idea. So, my current university is required to take a class called software engineering, which is kind of interesting because that's what we're trying to do. That is what my job is at Nike, as a software engineer, so it's pretty cool. The actual class itself, a little different, but besides the point. So in regards to the project, we essentially had the entire semester to make essentially a Barnes and Nobles, so just an online bookstore. So if you just go to the website of Barnes and Nobles, essentially that's what we were supposed to make. The class itself didn't really teach us how to program anything, so I don't think that the way that we did it was the most efficient in any regard, but that's what we knew at the time. And I'm going to show you this project, and it is in no way glamorous. I am not as intelligent as I seem to portray. I did have 3 other people working with me. 2 people were doing the front end, which was due in like August, and then me and Roderick, who is in a lot of my vlogs, we were in charge of the entire back end, which took like 4 months. It was kind of a lot, but again, this is not the most impressive website you've ever seen. If you think that you can make something better, that's absolutely amazing. That means that you will be able to thrive in an upper level CS class in college, which is absolutely amazing. Again, I want to preface that this is not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but I am very proud of it because it took a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of tears. It was really frustrating because I just didn't know. And so yeah, let us honestly just get started into me showing you my project. So first I wanted to show you the actual code itself, a little bit about the code, and before I actually showed you the actual project, and a little bit of how everything worked as a whole. So if you look on the left, these are all the files that are in this project. In August, we had to make the front end first, and again, the 2 other girls that were working on this project with us did the entire front end. So all of the HTML files were them. I didn't do much about it. I maybe tweaked a little bit of things to make it work for the backend that Roger and I created, but that is not my forte. So if you ever have any questions on that, I don't know. I'm not the best at front end. I think it's interesting, but again, it was not my forte. All I do know is that they use HTML, CSS, and they link to bootstraps to make it look really aesthetic, because my best friend, she's really into how things look. So it looks really nice and it's pretty dope. So then after that, we had to create a SQL database. So we've created a SQL database. This is MySQL. I actually really like MySQL because this is something I did use at Nike. And I actually just really enjoy the aspect and the programming within it. It's kind of like a puzzle to me, so it's pretty dope. So we created a database in a schema, and we just created all of the tables to hold all of the information. So essentially you had to, get the books, save the books, be able to allow multiple users into the system. Like for example, here you had to allow multiple users and customers, allow them to actually order things, allow them to save their information for payments, allow admins, of the website to include promotions and other things like that. So there's a lot of nitty-gritty type things. This SQL held all of the tables for the database for the backend of the project. This is something that I personally had to work on. Literally everything I'm about to talk about up until this point after this is something I personally worked on and programmed, and when I tell you it was a lot, it was a lot. But yes, SQL. So there's not much to it other than in this file, just a bunch of creating tables for all of the header names, inserting certain things this are the books that were a part of our website that you could order, and other things like that. I don't think it's super special, but this is the code that was there. Then you're able to look at all of the actual things to see what's actually in it. If I actually want to run this, I would have to do use first, and then you can see this person ordered nothing because there's nothing in there right now. I don't think there's a promotion either. So yeah, no, that's not the promotion. That's some code that we tried to fix and stuff. But yes, there's a promotion right now into the database. So it's just other little things like that. So that is what the SQL was. So this was the biggest and most difficult thing for us, and it's probably the most inefficient way that we did it. But it was incredibly difficult to connect this SQL database to the website. So the way that we did it was with Java and JSP and Tomcat. So we would create JSP files. So there's a lot of JSP files within this, because the entire project was basically a bunch of JSP files once we were able to figure it out. First, you have to download Tomcat, which is like, honestly, I don't really know the actual definition of what it is, but it's a way to connect your local server to allow you to run websites on your thing. I guess there's more technical stuff for it, but to be honest, I don't know. But that's what we used, because I used it in my web programming class in the spring, and so I just used it again in this semester. And so the way that we were connecting the SQL to the JSP was through connection driver managers and things like that. So you had to do essentially these two lines of code allowed my root and my actual SQL, which is like this connection right here, to connect to this JSP file, and this JSP file was connected to the HTML. So it's a lot of back and forth. If you see in this file right here is like the main page, which we will get to in a second. You can see right here we have the action on the form. Like once they submitted the form, it would call this JSP file on action, and this JSP file would then open and then connect to the database and do all of that information. So when they put in their names and stuff like that, it would save to the database, and so on and so forth. This took a very long time. I don't know why it took us so long to finally figure it out, but it was really difficult. But once we did figure it out, it was Gucci from there, and a lot of copy paste, to be honest. You are able to query through the database directly from the JSP in Java, which was actually really awesome. This was like Rogic's biggest part, because the syntax of this was very, very technical. Like if you just deleted this quotation mark, it would completely poop itself and just like not work. So it's really difficult to get everything down to the wire when we finally figured it out. For example, like right here, like the quotations, and it was just very technical, and it was really like Roderick's forte. I was not it. I would literally set everything up for him, tell him what the SQL query needed to be, and be like, all right, there you go, you got it. So that was like the partnership that we had, which was pretty dope, because we both have our strengths and weaknesses. But essentially, for example, this file right here is allowing the user to sign into the website. So they would put in their email, they would put in their password, and we would first need to check that the email and the password existed. And if it did exist, which is what this query did, this query checked that their email and password first existed and that they matched to the database of what they used to register. And if they did, then we allowed them to sign in, essentially. So that is what a lot of this code is. There's a lot of JSP files for different things, and it was just very technical. But enough about the code, I guess. Let's actually look at the website. So the way that we would run the website, you could do it on any HTML file. You would just click on this, go run as, and run on the server. The server was, again, the Tomcat server that took a lot of steps to actually get into it. I had to use a lot of IDEs to even figure out which one was best for me for this. Currently on Eclipse, I don't know if I said that, but Eclipse was just like the best option for us. Run on server and you're able to do that. I've already done it. It's currently running, actually. If you look at the project, here it is. So this was our project. This is the front end. So, you know, you're able to click on books, able to see the book, see like the book ID, the title of the book, and all of the information about the book and stuff. This page, you know, this is what I was talking about earlier about the JSPs. A lot of this is like, you would fill all of this information out. So for example, if we wanted to fill this information out, this is me, just a random email, a random password, a random security question, because I don't care. You submit. Once you submitted this, it actually sent an email, which was also really difficult to do. But in the JSP, we made it send an email to a certain account, like, hey, you just, you know, made it, like, hey, you just made an account, please verify your information. All of that stuff didn't actually need to be done, but the email was sent. Now, if you go directly to the SQL, you can actually see that I was just created. So Daviel Matos, all of the information I just put in was created. So it's actually updating in real time in the SQL, which is pretty dope. Now, if we sign in with all of the stuff that we just said, you're able now to be signed in to our website. So now that you're signed in, you can look at all the books that you want to do and all of that great stuff. You can go to your profile and look at all of your information, your passwords, your address, and your payment. So all of this stuff was very technical. Our professor would have bullet points of this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and all of this was not done at one time. It was actually really broken up into multiple steps. So all of the front end actually was done at one time, but the back end, which was built into multiple steps. So which was pretty cool and really great because it was a lot. But for example, just if you want to add a book to your cart, say the Promised Land and stuff like that, you can now see that in your cart. Boom, Davielle has a Promised Land book 1 in her cart. So it's just little things like that. That's essentially all we had to do. You could look at all the books that are in the database. So these are all the books that are currently in the SQL database, because when all of these inserts right here saved into the books table, and the books table is being displayed right here. So that's essentially what it is. You're able to, again, add multiple books to your cart. You're able to add the same book to your cart. The way that we're adding books to cart is by your title. Other people knew more about building websites than my team did. So they have really crazy and impressive websites. This is kind of minimalistic and simplistic as a whole. Because if you misspelled this, it just wasn't gonna add. That's not the most efficient. But again, I think we did well in the presentation because they didn't ask us about it. But as you can see, I ordered 2 books of A Promised Land. The price is now almost $62 and stuff like that. Alongside of this, you also had to do an admin. So we also had to create an admin page, which was also pretty good. So as an admin, you can add books. So these are the books, right? And then if I were to add a book, save changes, the book is now here. And again, that is reflected in the books table, which is right here. So boom, 999. And then as a normal person, again, you would be able to see it. You can delete books and stuff like that. You can suspend users. You can promote users. So all of this stuff was literally here's a form, fill this form out, do what it's supposed to do, submit it, call the JSP file, connect the JSP file to the SQL, and then the SQL use some query beautifulness to essentially do what it needed to do. So yeah, that was basically, honestly, my whole project. Again, there was 4 of us, took basically the whole semester. The back end was just a lot of little steps that was really difficult for us. One of the most difficult things for us was displaying information from the database to the website. That was incredibly difficult. I don't even know why it was that difficult. Just this table itself was just so hard. Don't know why it was so hard. It's kind of crazy. But when we finally figured it out, screaming. We were ecstatic, so excited. It was just one of the best times. Yeah, this project as a whole was really good. I think it was really beneficial. I learned a lot more about SQL and the back end of creating websites, because that is, again, what majority of, I literally did all of it, to be honest. I had a part of the entire back end, along with Rogic. Rogic and I did the entire thing together. But yeah, that is my senior project. I hope that this gives you some insight on the type of work that seniors do in college for computer science. My university is not the say-all be-all of all universities. This is just what I had to do. And if you think you can do something better, amazing. I would love to see it. If you want to join the Discord and let me know. I just think it's pretty dope. I'm very excited about, progressing forward in my career and all of that great stuff, and just learning more about computer science and programming. Working on backend was kind of difficult, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the whole process. A lot of it was a copy paste, but once it worked, it worked. I was ecstatic, thriving, such a vibe. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for Tiffany again for suggesting this video, and I hope that it was fun. I hope that you got more insight on the kind of the stuff that I do day to day. I'm very excited about everything, really. So yeah, good luck with finals if you're seeing this video at the end of December. And yeah, thank you so much again for watching the video, and hope you have a beautiful and blessed day tomorrow.